Wait another 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to start off today's presentation with an introduction from Jordan about the 3D Experience platform, and this is going to set the tone for today. So enjoy our first video, and I'm going to be jumping in within 2 minutes, and we will get the day started.
Hey, I'm Jordan, a senior solution consultant with Dassault Systèmes. But more importantly than that, I'm a DIYer, a designer, and a die-hard SOLIDWORKS user just like the other 5 million across the globe. SOLIDWORKS completely changed the design industry when it hit the streets, and it's come a really long way since then. But I still run into customers struggling with communication, collaboration, hardware specs. The list is always much bigger than just CAD functionality. Well, I've recently adopted the most exciting tech in my entire career, and I think it's about time we prepare ourselves for this next big technology shift. Before my generation, CAD was a very expensive endeavor. Thankfully, technology evolved and we were saved by the Windows operating system. At the time, no one thought it could handle CAD, but SOLIDWORKS proved them wrong, rewrote history, and now they're about ready to do it again. 25 years later, SOLIDWORKS is answering the ever-growing business demands of over 250,000 customers worldwide. Sometimes it seems like there's nothing SOLIDWORKS can't do, until you consider the capabilities of Dassault Systèmes' other brands. From biomechanics to aerospace to ridiculous nonlinear simulations to exact digital replicas of the human heart and entire cities. The capabilities of each brand are unreal. And that's why Dassault Systèmes merged them onto a unified platform, fully hosted on the cloud. There are now 7,500 R&D employees working together as a singular, unstoppable force to bring you the ultimate design platform, 3DExperience. It handles all of your document storage, project collaboration, and of course, communication on the cloud, on any device, anywhere. More power with less hardware and zero IT overhead. And everything is centered around 3D design. So of course, those apps are fully cloud-based too. Xdesign has all the essential features you'd expect. Whether you're using a mouse or a touch device, the user interface is exceptional. And it comes packed with never-before-seen capabilities that help me pull off crazy modeling challenges like switching a revolve to a sweep without even messing up the rest of my model. Xshape is another CAD app, but not for your traditional modeling workflows. Here, you'll start with a digital hunk of clay and mold it into any shape you can imagine. Just push and pull it into place. I love surface modeling, but even if you have no experience with it, you could still pick this app up in minutes. And there's so much more. Cloud-based data management, even for SOLIDWORKS Desktop, automatically curated analytics and business insights, and simulation capabilities way beyond what we're used to. The best part, we're only getting started. CAD has gone through a few growth spurts so far, but we're embarking on the biggest one yet. So what's your plan? Does your company have a cloud initiative? Could you benefit from the mobility, the power, the cutting-edge modeling workflows offered on the 3DExperience platform? If you can't wait to get your hands on these new tools, sign up for a free trial, and maybe we can collaborate. Until then, I have a long list of projects I've never been able to tackle until now, so I'm going to get busy.
So again, welcome guys. Day 3 days. Dressed in my suit today. It's my 15th wedding anniversary, so I thought, why not? Let's get dressed up for work. And I can't be on the stage as I normally am with you guys, so I get dressed up for work in my little office. And I thought I could celebrate this big day with you guys at the launch of this new era, this 3DExperience platform, which we are very excited to bring to you today. Big day for us. And this is a very exciting time for us as MECAD in South Africa. So over the last few days, we've really gone through a lot of effort and time in introducing the what's new over the last few days with SOLIDWORKS. We did multi-products yesterday, and today we're going to do the 3DExperience platform. And the agenda is going to be exactly the same. I'm going to do the introduction into the 3DExperience platform now in the beginning. We're going to go down to Ernie from MECAD in the studio with Idis, and we're going to have a little chat about the entrepreneurship birth into this amazing little company that's now thriving. Incredible story, and I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy that. And then after that, we're going to be doing all the cool apps on the 3D Experience platform, designing on the cloud and Shaper, and it's really, really cool simulation tools that are next generation stuff. And we are very, very excited to share that with you. So hang around for a really exciting 2 hours. For those of you who've been asking on the chat so far this morning, all of the sessions over the last 3 days will be published to our YouTube channel on Monday. So if any of your colleagues or friends have missed it, don't worry, point them to our website, or point them to our YouTube page. And we will share those videos with you, and we'd love to hear your comments on that. I want to start off with a tool called Apps for Kids.
I'd like to talk about my vacation this summer.
Sophia, please speak louder so your friends can hear you in the back.
Here are some pictures of my trip. Me and my family visited Dallas, Texas. This is my favorite souvenir from Dallas. My little brother Simon got one too. Simon was a bit sad that he couldn't find a matching hat for Boris, his favorite stuffed bear. So I decided I could make his bear hat too. But first, I had to get ideas on what it should look like. So while my family visited museums and sites, I started collecting pictures for ideas. Then I started making the hat. Here's what I made. I made sure the hat fit Boris's head. Then I went online to order a 3D print of the hat. It came in the mail a few days later. Simon let me bring Boris in to show you how it turned out. I'd like to show Simon what you guys think of the hat.
I want to encourage you to go and have a look at that. If you go to SolidWorks Apps for Kids, you can Google it. It's a free beta. It's a free beta program. You can go on now and actually go and have a look at it. It's a really, really clever piece of technology. And you can see on the left-hand side is my daughter Abigail. If you've been following me, I do have a lot of kids. I've got 3 daughters and a little boy. I've got 4 kids. So a lot of kids to experiment these kinds of apps with. It's really great. Go to SolidWorks Apps for Kids and log on and let your kids have a try. Really, really impressive piece of tech for the next generation. So what is 3DExperience.Works? You've seen this maybe in the media. You've seen this around our presentations. Well, it's a little bit of a rebranding as SolidWorks as a group, as a whole bunch of products together. This SolidWorks icon on the top right-hand corner is still the center focus, the key, the design tool we know and love, and it is still part of the development and the future of Dassault systems. But what about this next generation? How do we take advantage of this new era that we're living in with 5G coming in, interconnectivity, with lockdown? It's absolutely intensified the need for us to work collaboratively without being in the same space. What SolidWorks and Dassault Systems have done over the last 10 years, and you would have heard these kinds of rumors, this 3D Experience pattern, this logo has been in your face for the last few years, and this is the start of this 3D Experience platform. It's taking all of these powerful Dassault Systems brands like 3D Excite, CATIA, Simulia, Telmia, Net5, Zenovia, And we as SolidWorks get a little piece of that as the 3DExperience.Works brand. So we get a little bit of the best of CATIA, Simulia, Delmia, Innovia, and PLM comes down to us in the SolidWorks community. It's incredible. All of these powerful tools available to us in bite sizes. And I'm going to try and explain this to you as best I can. And what we're going to do is, instead of showing you hundreds of PowerPoints with different slides and trying to get this across to you, I want to show you in a practical environment, what is this 3DExperience platform? How do we use this cloud, and what is it? So what we're going to do is practically show you an example of what this 3DExperience looks like and how you will use it in your everyday life. So I'm just going to put my glasses on and we can begin. Hold tight. Let's go. So this is the story of a company called Icon. It's a real company. It was a small business in the US. They created a off-road wheelchair. And it's a really, really interesting story. It's a true story. It's not a made-up thing. And I'm going to now do a made-up thing. I'm going to do a theoretical team collaboration project where the group at Icon represents a typical engineering company like all of you have. There's Pete, Project Pete. We've got Debbie, designer. We've got Adam, the engineer analyst. And we've got Don, the designer. This is a typical everyday scenario where we've got to design this off-road wheelchair, and this is the team that's going to do it. So a little bit of a quick introduction to the team. Project Pete is our project manager. He's going to go and do the market research. He's going to deal with customer relationships, and he is also going to do some design review. He wants to make sure that we are on track and make sure that we deliver what's necessary on time. We then get Don, the CAD designer, the industrial designer with the cool hair. He's the aesthetics leader, and he enjoys playing frisbee on the beach in Bloberg. Then we got Debbie, designer. She's our mechanical engineer. She's also our in-house rendering guru. She takes all of the rendering models. She uses Visualize to render and Composer to do the tech pubs. She likes listening to some classical music. We've got Adam, the analyst. He's our senior engineer. He uses a bit of simulation. He's our analyst. He's a professional qualified engineer. He's the guy who's going to sign off everything and make sure that it's all ready to go. So this is the team. Now we're going to look at this collaborative environment. First of all, we start with Pete. His duties are to go and research the market and get some feedback from the prototypes in the field with some the testing prototypes in the field. So he analyzes the data from these prototypes being tested by these different people on the field. He needs to collect all that information in a single location and stay on top of that information while sharing that information from the field to others. Then he also needs to formulate a plan in order to get this project launched and on the road. He needs to schedule and assign tasks to his design team, and we just were introduced to this design team, and Pete's the guy that's going to do it. Each person in the team may be using different tools. They're going to be using different files and doing different areas of the design project. And then Adam is going to analyze everything and sign off everything in order to make sure that it is ready and legal to go. At the same time, keeping track of all the revisions and changes without stepping on each other's toes. This can be a really interesting task. How do we go about sharing data between different people? Maybe they're in different locations, maybe in the same office, but they're all involved with different aspects of the design. So my little story begins with Pete. He's going to need to gather all of this information together, organize the information, and then distribute that information to the team that is discovered. So I'm going to go straight into the 3DExperience platform dashboard. This is what this experience platform looks like. This is the dashboard. It's in an HTML environment. It runs on Apple. It runs on Chromebooks. It runs on anything, even your phone. You can go and access the dashboard that you see in front of you. Now I'm going to zoom in and look at different aspects, and I'm going to represent and reproduce this day in life of Pete. So in the dashboard, we're going to look at and monitor things that are important to him. So we create and edit this dashboard as you want it. Think of it like a social media page that's editable, that I can manipulate and move things around how I want it. Like I've been talking about LinkedIn in the last few days. So one of the tabs is dedicated to a collaborative community where we can keep track of these teams as they progress through the completion of this wheelchair. And Pete isn't forced to view focus only on these 2D images, but he can look at the design instead, and we can actually go and have a look through the dashboard at the different designs. So he's going to go and search for the actual designs. Remember, I might be on an iPad or a tablet or on a computer. I don't have to have SolidWorks installed. I'm just going to take a look at the files that reside on the cloud, and I'm going to just drag it into this little 3D play window that you see on the right-hand side. And again, I can scale this thing as I want to. So I just drag and drop into the window, and it will give me a representation of the file. And it's a 3D player. You can do PDFs and Adobe PDFs, images, anything will go into this file. Just drag and drop. So really simple to understand. And if I look at the top left-hand corner, you're going to see little tabs. And those little tabs, again, are editable. I've created different tabs for different communities, different dashboards, different projects. All those kinds of things can be manipulated by myself. So I've got different communities. The first community I've got there is my design community. That's my team. That's Adam's team. It's Adam Animus, Debbie Designer, and Don the Designer. That little group is in a little community, and I'm going to post something. So previously what would happen is, I send emails. We've got different softwares, maybe Microsoft Teams, and I said, I sent you an email, but I sent you a chat in Teams. No, not the chat message. I sent you an email. Then it's maybe Slack. No, it gets really confusing. And what we're trying to do is show an environment that's completely in one, that's got the feel of a social media environment. So we're tagging different people, we're talking to different people, and I'm going to show you how this works. The next tab is the feedback community from the outside. Maybe I've got these testers in the market. I've got 12 different people that are my field testers. Maybe I've got a little community for them, like you'd have on Facebook, on LinkedIn. And this community is going to provide feedback to Pete in this little dashboard. And a really cool little feature is this little ideas tab. So if I click on the ideas tab, we can look at this thing called an ideas pipeline. And Pete is able to filter on the ideas provided by the testers. And in addition, you can view the idea pipeline in a condensed view. And this pipe views Pete to, you can graphically manipulate and view all the different ideas and at what stage these ideas are. And maybe some of these ideas can be dragged and moved from an idea into an implemented stage. These tools are bespokely built for our world, our engineering, design, development, project management world. A really cool way to do this, to get feedback, is also in the form of surveys. We can provide surveys, and maybe we do SurveyMonkey for these kinds of things. Again, it's a different application that's outside. I've got to copy and save the data, bring it in, email it to people, and hope that they read it and give comments. Yeah, one platform, one environment, one place that we can share a survey, for example. So Pete's got his little dashboard where he's gone and received the feedback from the survey in the team. And if you look at his research tab, that information from the survey is placed on a little NetVibes dashboard on the top left-hand side. And we can start looking at what's important: weight, comfort, portability, stability. On the right-hand side of his dashboard, he's got another NetVibes feed reader. You'll see Google News on the top corner where he's put wheelchair athletes as a search. And what the app's going to do is going to go onto Google News and go and automatically search for any news items that's got to do with wheelchair athletics and bring that information into this NetVibes folder. So you don't need to go and search separately inside of Google for this. SolidWorks in the 3DExperience platform is going to have a little dashboard place for you to bring all the information together, and you can go and review that really, really easily. What we can do as well is review the feedback, and we can see that weight is the biggest concern. So what Pete's going to do is he's going to publish this information, the weight and the feedback from this tester community, back to SWIM. You're going to see publish to SWIM. SWIM is an acronym. It's a see what you mean. It's really cool. What we're going to do is take this little note and we're going to push that into the community for the designers. So we're going to say, hey guys, this is the feedback from the field. This is what they're saying. What do you guys think? How are we going to do this? Let's collaborate together. Let's have a conversation around the information that was shared to us. So we witnessed how Pete was able to get up-to-date information, latest from the field, and we've done a bit of market research using the platform. Now he's going to provide some feedback to the designers. The best way to do that is in the form of a project feedback, and we need to put some timelines into how we're going to go about doing that. So if we're going to go into Pete's projects tab, and we're going to create a new project to reduce the weight on this wheelchair. So we're going to reduce the weight of the icon. That's the top level project. And now we're going to dig in and get the members involved. Who on my team is going to be involved with this specific project? So Pete goes in and just types in, it'll automatically search because we've added users already to the database, and it will predictive text who the team members are. And he's quickly added the 3 other members to the team. Now we've got a live timeline here that we can move around as you would. Again, this is not Microsoft Projects. We've got a third-party application. This is all within the same platform. Now, normally how we start with projects, Pete starts with a milestone. Where are we going to end? What is our deadline? We need this thing. We need the final design to be shared by X date. And you can just create it and your milestone set. And now we can work backwards with tasks. This is really, really simple. All you've got to do is type in the name of the task, how long it will take to do the task, and you just create it. Again, it's live, so you can manipulate and drag the things as you like. On the right-hand side, we can assign that specific task we just typed to a person. So Pete's clicked Adam Analyst in the list, Don and Debbie. And what you can actually do, not only can you just type in, times and people, you can actually type in the physical name of the project. Say, for instance, this icon was already designed. It's already in the system. We've built the prototypes. The prototypes are in the field, but there's changes that need to be made. So these are SolidWorks models that already exist on the platform. So what Pete can do is he can actually go and type in the name of the top level icon assembly, and he can say, hey guys, this assembly is the one that we need to lighten. So again, not my Microsoft Teams or any kind of management software that's disconnected. This is fully connected together. Communication, files, timelines. And what we're going to do now is just we're going to speed through creation of the different tasks that Pete's giving to the different people. Removing unnecessary material, create the marketing images, approve all changes, and the timelines just get added linearly. And when we get to the end, we can actually manipulate those. Look at this. This is really easy. All you've got to do is take your mouse, drag from the end of one timeline to the beginning of another, and it's going to do a magic thing. It's going to link the two together. So they create dependencies. Really simple. Click, drag, drop. Immediate dependencies between the two. And this again is live. So like the feature tree in SolidWorks with your child and parent relationships, if you drag it and manipulate it to make it look a bit more aesthetically pleasing, everything will update accordingly. So there we go. Project laid out. I've got a simple tasks assigned to each one. Each person's got their own roles to perform, and we're ready to go. So assigning tasks to team members will fire off notifications, so no one gets confused as to when and who I need to do anything. So let's have a zoom in on Adam. Adam, the analyst engineer. So when I log in as Adam, he's gonna get notified that there's a new task to do. So you will see on the left-hand side, there's a to-do list for him. You will also notice at the top, there's a tasks tab. And when he looks at the things to do, it says, I, as Adam, need to remove material. Now, when he reviews that, he actually wants to get Don involved with this as well and says, hey, Don, the front suspension looks like it's over-engineered. Have a look at this. So even in the to-do list of the project planning, I can send notes like you would in social media at someone, or whether in Facebook or in LinkedIn. As soon as you say at to a person's name, you don't have to send off emails or chat to anyone. As soon as you put an at with a person's name in, it will notify them inside of this environment, and I'll show you later how to do that. Then very easily, when Adam says, okay, cool, I'm ready to go, all he does is takes his mouse and drags the to-do into progress. Now Pete from his dashboard can see, okay, Adam's got it, he's working on it, and he can actually view live. the progress of the project because it's all in the cloud. The data is completely synchronized. So Adam is now in a holding pattern until the design changes are made. He's going to check the results later on as the engineer. He knows what to do to sign off. So remember, we had Don, the designer, and he's the guy that's actually going to go and do the work. So when Don gets into his environment, he gets notified by the little bell on top of the screen, as you can see there, and it says, "Hey, Adam Analyst mentioned you in a comment." As soon as he clicks on that, it's going to automatically take him to the projects. He's going to see his notes, and he can type back immediately and saying, "Hey, okay, I've got it. Reply to the message. I've got it. I'm on it." He can then, in his to-do, remove unnecessary material by dragging it into the in progress. So he's got his own specific task to perform. The little icon you see on the left-hand side, that's the 3D Experience Compass. If you click on that, you will see all sorts of apps, as the kids call it, on the left-hand side. And this is part of the future. You know, these are apps that are defined in roles. So maybe you are a designer role, you're going to get a set of apps that will allow you to do your role. Project Pete might be a project management role. He's going to have a set of apps that go with that role. And what's really great about this kind of platform is that you would be able to, a la carte, decide which one of these apps or roles you want. You don't have to buy a massive suite. You can just buy the apps that you will use or roles that you will use. And that makes it a lot more affordable and scalable for you as a company. Now, what's really interesting is that SolidWorks is actually here as an app as well, but it doesn't run in the cloud. This is the normal SolidWorks that we've been bragging about for the last 2 days. This is, Don the designer's normal SolidWorks that runs on his machine. However, on the right-hand side, we will see the 3D Experience PLM services. This is the PDM system on the cloud embedded inside of SolidWorks. This is automatically linked to that cloud platform that we were just looking at. So when he goes and searches for the front suspension inside of the PDM PLM services on the right-hand side, it will search on the cloud for the data. And you've got this really powerful 6W tags tool where you can go and search for pretty much anything inside the cloud in the folder. And he's just going to go and look for that front assembly. But there's a lot of information that goes with this. Now we can go and look at the normal PDM kind of properties, all the different metadata that goes along with this part, revisions, descriptions created by, all the properties from SolidWorks. I can even look at relations. Where is this thing used? Parent-child relationship. So if I go and change this, what will happen to the children? Very easy way to look and review the information. So I've only got one parent, it's going to be easy. There's nothing that's going to be affected. I've just reviewed that. And there's a little preview option that allows you inside of the task pane. Now just look where we are. We're inside of the task pane in SolidWorks. I haven't left SolidWorks. I'm not on the cloud. I'm in the task pane inside of SolidWorks. And this is looking into the cloud. Really, really, really simple. So all I'm going to do is click on the open button, and this is going to take me straight from the cloud. The data is going to be synchronized from the cloud and pop straight inside of SolidWorks. Right. So the task pane shows the structure of the assembly as well as whether or not Don is working on the latest version and or the local version. So what he's going to do is he's going to select those 4 components. That's what he's going to be working on. And then he's going to go to the top level assembly, and then he's going to check it out by reserving that. So he's going to reserve those files, and he's going to say, hey, those files belong to me. I'm going to be working on them right now. No one else can go and adjust and change those things. So the task pane is now highlighted to those changes that have been made. I've just pushed the magic wand. I've gone and updated this. I don't want to spend time showing you, how the CAD's done. You know that. So I've gone in, changed it, and on the right-hand side now, the task pane is showing me that it's updated. So Don's made a complete design change, but only he sees those design changes. How does he synchronize that to the rest of the group? How does everyone else see that? This, again, really, really easy. We go back into SolidWorks and we go and have a look at how we do that. So you right-click on the top of the tree and you save it. It's going to pull those references, and then I can also not only save it, but I can choose to bump up the revisions that I've changed. And SolidWorks on the left-hand side shows me all of the changes that have been made. And it's going to bump up the revision from A1 to B1 or whatever, a revisioning sequence I would like. And you can immediately see that it's going to send those across onto the cloud. Now, if you've got a 1,000 component assembly and you only change 5 parts, only those 5 parts are going to be changed and sent back up onto the cloud. The rest of the stuff stays on your local cache. The rest of the files, I shouldn't use words like stuff. I can also do, PLM kind of functionality where I'm moving life cycle changes. I'm going to be moving the maturity of this part from a in design phase to an in work phase, that I'm doing now, to a frozen stage. Now, this is going to stop the result, the design and say, hey, frozen this, I'm keeping this. This is, don't change anything, please, guys. This is pending approval. I need Adam to check this stuff out before, we're going to manufacture the stuff. So by locking that down, no one else can go and make those changes. Now, from within the task pane, again, I remind you, we're not on the platform. We're still looking at the platform through the task pane. Now, I can select my little project task pane, and I can actually drag the progress bar again from saying removed material. I just drag it into done. Easy as that. The work that's been assigned to me is just dragged across. I'm finished and ready to go. Work done. So Don's completed his design change and he stored the data in the centralized vault on the cloud, and he's moved his assigned task over. One last step would be to communicate what he's changed to the rest of the community. How do we go about doing that? Now I move on to my HTML. I'd go and open my Chrome or iOS or Safari, whatever you're going to use, and he's going to go and have make a little note as to what he's changed. So this is his little dashboard again. He goes to the front suspension, drags it onto the 3D player, which I showed you earlier. You maximize it like you would in any Windows Windows application. And I'm just going to use this 3D markup tool to go and tell the rest of the team what I've done. Again, really simple. You can use your finger, a stylus, and you can just say, hey guys, I added this and changed this, make some notes. I can even type some text. And again, this can be done even on your phone. You can be on the field, you can use your phone, open up stuff, make information, and it's there, it's done. Not only can you make notes with it, you can share that to your group in the community. Easy, easy, easy. Look at that. Click a button, share to my community. It's going to take this little note and say, I want to post this to my design community and say, hey guys, what do you think? I did this. Instead of email, WhatsApp voice messages, Teams messages, pictures, photos. This is one environment, one community. And if I go to that community now, that little design community, you will see there's a little post, like a LinkedIn post or a Facebook post. This is Don's little post saying, hey guys, what do you think? And you can actually see on the right-hand side, there's Pete's comment saying, hey, well done, nice work. Hey, Adamus, go ahead, with your task, carry on. Yeah, and again, when Adam's in his environment, he's going to get that little bell on top of the screen. He's going to get a notification saying, hey, you were tagged in a message, go and have a look. Completely synchronized environments for working. So we'll get to Don a bit later on. Let's move our world onto Debbie. So Debbie, as you recall, was asked to do the marketing material in Visualize. To do that, Debbie looks at SolidWorks and the icon in the Explorer, but she will notice that there's some changes to the file. If you look at the little plus sign, it's a little indicator that there's a change to it. I need to update the files. You can see that it's wrong. So all you do is you right click on there, you replace by revision, and SolidWorks is going to automatically notify me of this. By the way, that little plus sign is just a quick reference for your eye. SolidWorks will pop up and warn you that there's a newer version. It won't allow you to save it as an older version anyway. So there we go, front suspension updated, and now she realizes that her top level assembly, because of the design changes, need to be bumped up in revision as well. Because remember, Don Designer was only working on that suspension. Debbie was working on the entire top level assembly. So what she does is goes to the top level assembly and bumps it up a revision as well. And saves the file onto the cloud. Okay, with that, she's completed her work, and now she's going to carry on and work with her Visualize Composer. It's sending the request to the server, material, everything updated. She goes into Visualize now, and I'm not going to go into that now. You guys know how Visualize works, and she's going to go and create that really cool marketing content. And she now needs to go and fast forward a bit, and I'm just going to move into Debbie Designer's world. So if you look at Debbie's dashboard on the left-hand side, we've got some bookmarks, some folders where she's going to put her rendered files. So she's gone onto Windows. She just takes her files from Windows Explorer, makes a little folder, and drags and drops those files into the environment. It's easy as that. It's going to automatically upload those files to the cloud, and she'll be able to communicate that with the rest of the team. Right, there we go. And again, in that 3D Play environment, if she wants to review that stuff, drag and drop from your folder in the cloud onto this little viewing pane, maximize that a little bit, and you've got the ability to review the information, renderings, PDFs, whatever it may be. And again, easy peasy. We want to share this with the community and say, hey guys, here are my renderings. What do you think? Share another post to the community. Again, I can title it or have it specified to a different person by saying @ but this is going to go to the community as a whole. Now you can define your communities, you can have different groups in those communities, and organize your teams like that. And she as well will now move her progression from in progress to done. Easy as dragging and dropping, and the progress bar is going to move over and be complete. So not only can she say it's done, she can actually add the deliverables, the actual renderings that she's done in that folder. Remember I told you about the folder we did earlier in the little favorites? So you can drag that, drop it in here, and we can then, when Pete reviews the project plan, he doesn't have to go and scratch around and find the files. And we can look at that now. Because she's attached the link to it, it's all connected in one environment, and it's done. Right, our friend Pete, let's go back. A lot's happened in the project since his last seen everyone. So let's look at Pete's dashboard. So notice that there's a few notifications on the top. Don and Debbie and Adam have worked and completed all of their tasks. And there's one from Debbie that states there's images now done. So if he goes and looks at his project tab, you will notice there's a gray color and a blue color. The gray color indicates that everything's been completed. The blue color says that these are yet to be completed, which is the overall approval. So if he goes and looks at the community, you can see exactly what's going on. You can look at Debbie's renderings. Again, these are fully customizable. We're just going to look at the preview again. This is quite nice. You can see how easy it is to manipulate your workspace. This is that bookmark that we was referenced to in this project. You can then click the simulation results, the marketing results, and look at this. This is actually the Adam analyst has done a simulation on the cloud of the results, and Pete's actually able to review the information and stress results without having any form of viewers or CAD. It's all in the same 3D Play environment. So simulation results, rendering results. So in this way, he's able to review the project and move it forward without having to move or leave the application that he's working within inside this platform. So last but not least, he's going to send back to the feedback community and say, hey guys, feedback community, you're not in my design community. Remember, these are the guys in the field. Thanks again for all your feedback. This is the work that we've done. And what do you think? And he's going to publish that, and it's going to go to the community on the outside. What's great about this is that not only can you have design communities within your environment, but if you're collaborating with outside companies, suppliers, customers, you can give them access to your community, and you can collaborate in exactly the same way that we've done today. It's really, really powerful and next generation way of working. And Pete was able to review absolutely everything like that. So that is the first. I'm exactly on time, so I'm glad I could show you that. And again, the 3D Experience platform isn't a replacement of SolidWorks. It's the way to enhance your SolidWorks. We've got all this powerful cloud technology that's available to us now. It's not taking SolidWorks and throwing it away. It's empowering it. It's giving it the sort of the energy and the power and the performance to run us for another 20, 30 years. And these are the tools that we want to show you. And there are literally hundreds of applications that SolidWorks has, or Dassault Systems has put, because there's a 7,500 person team that's come together to develop this 3DExperience platform. And I cannot tell you how excited I am about the future for this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move down to Idris and Ernie in the studio, and we're going to come back afterwards to Irfan, and we're going to talk about cloud-based CAD. And we're going to talk about shape, 3D sculptor, 3D designer, designing on the cloud. Really exciting. And then we're going to look at simulation using SimuliaWorks on the cloud, doing next level design simulations. Really, really excited for that. Don't leave. So I am done with this. Idris, I'm going to move down to you in the studio. Just going to get out of my PowerPoint and go back to Idris. There we go.
Quentin, can you hear us?
I can now take my jacket off, so that is good news. I'm getting a bit hot here.
Quentin, can you confirm? Can you hear us?
There we go. Idris, Wesley, maybe just change the mics again. I'm not sure if you've got the microphones. You're a bit soft again.
Yeah, no, we on the correct.
Okay, perfect. Super. Okay, guys, have a good time. Back to me again. We should make sure we got the mics. We want to hear Ernie and Idris quite clearly. Super. All right, over to you guys. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Quinn. Okay, no, awesome what you've shown us so far. Quite exciting. I've been chatting to Ernie now as well on that. So let me quickly introduce Ernie. We'll pop up his bio there. Ernie has been in the renewable industry for the renewable energy industry for 8 years, and he became the lead engineer at MECAD, and he's going to tell us more about MECAD just now in 2016. And then in 2017, a journey started with MECAD and SolidWorks, and we'll tell you all about that. Yes, so you can bring us back to studio that we can introduce Ernie. Ernie, welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Idris. I've got the same shirt on just so that you can recognize me from that bio picture.
Guys, he actually, the bio picture, the Red Sox shirt, he pulled it out of the washing, so it's a little bit, but at least you can smell it. So thanks,
and it helps us to keep the 1.5 meter distance.
That's what he's doing. Yes, so excellent. Ernie, you can actually take us through your presentation, and we can have a chat about this.
Great, thanks, Idris. Yes, so what you see there is a MECAD. It's a fully electric, fully roadworthy vehicle. So this particular vehicle is actually in Belgium at the moment.
Okay.
But this vehicle was, or this picture was taken in Stellenbosch, where we are based.
Yes.
So it's got 2.3 cubic meters of space. It's got about 100 kilometers of range.
On one charge?
Yes, on a single charge. Okay. So obviously it depends on the terrain and how you load it. Mm-hmm. But in general, we say if you do 100 kilometers, you should be fine.
Excellent. You can take us on to the next one. I think that's where we met you guys with MECAD, the mellow yellow, if I'm allowed to say that. So, but this beautiful first MECAD that you've got, yeah.
Yep. So this picture goes back quite a long way to 2016.
Okay.
So this was the first vehicle. This picture was also taken in Stellenbosch. And when I look at this vehicle now, I can just see how far we've come. This vehicle is actually still in our shop, in our workshop in Stellenbosch. So if you guys are ever around, please do come around, have a cup of tea. The vehicle is there, and it's a meeting pod.
Okay.
But this vehicle was a great platform to actually test, to do quite a couple of our viability tests on. We've made a few changes. The major change is that we actually pivoted more towards cargo as opposed to the people carrier.
And that's where the mellow vans started coming in.
Yes. So I'm going to switch to the next one, which was the first mellow van. So mellow van, as the name suggests, is all about moving packages.
Okay.
So initially we said we wanted to move people in the last mile. So call it when I say last mile, I mean the last 4 to 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
So, but in a way of speaking, let's call it
the last
mile. So this vehicle was actually modified from a people carrier to a cargo van. So this was, if I might say, the IT jargon, which is a MVP,
Okay.
a minimum viable product. And this one actually worked great to test further and see how.
And Takealot did a few runs with it and use that and drop some parcels. So
a lot of parcels. Yep.
Excellent.
So this, once again, this picture was taken in Somerset West.
Mm-hmm.
So they did quite a few deliveries. There's actually another Takealot vehicle, a new vehicle, running in the Woodstock area at the moment.
Okay.
So if you live in Woodstock and you order your Takealot parcel, it may well be delivered.
Yeah, the guys from Robertson and Kane order something from Takealot and see if the Menlo van rocks up and come and deliver your parcel. Yes.
Yes, please do that.
You can take us on.
So let's go to the next one. I think the previous vehicles were actually developed using other softwares. So it was a mixture. We were a startup company. We had a software which was really set up for engineering. And then we had another software which was really set up NURBS modeling.
Yes.
So really set up to do organic shapes.
But you couldn't marry the two. Yes.
Exactly. So when Quentin actually came around to us in Stellenbosch at the launch lab at the time, we asked ourselves this question. So this is our little mantra. So whenever we've got to make real decisions, we ask ourselves, does this fit in with our mantra? So we develop light electric vehicles that enable good urban mobility. And at the time, we are happy to say that SolidWorks and MECAD fitted really well into that
mantra and the soul of the company.
Yes, into the package.
Yes, no, that's excellent. And you just mentioned that you were at the launch lab where we met you guys. So as a proper startup entrepreneurship program with SolidWorks that you entered into.
Yep. So, well, once again, when I look back, it feels like we've known you for a really long time.
Yes.
But we were really lucky that we got onto the entrepreneurship program, and we actually had licenses for all of our engineers and designers. So before that, as a startup, you're quite cash strapped.
Yes.
So you can choose, are you going to employ an engineer and then you can use the old outdated software? Or are you going to buy the software and the hardware and then not have
money left to pay a person to use that?
Yeah. Exactly. So we were really lucky that once we switched over to the entrepreneurship program, it actually went pretty well. And we were able to at that stage appoint an industrial designer, Naim,
yes,
who actually redid all of the designs to what it is now.
Yeah, Naim's going to feature again later on, so watch out for that. So yeah, we'll come to that one. But
sorry, I'm laughing, Naim, because you will be able to hear me now. I did not take the picture.
Yeah, he's blaming it on us. Nothing to do with it. Any case, guys. Yeah, Annie, these are some hand sketches. So this is where the dream started.
Yes. So this at this stage we actually had the first vehicles built. So we had something to work from. So we wanted to keep the iconic shape because you'll also see that the van is actually in our logo. So it's something we really we value that logo. So it took quite a few sketches. This was not a single A4 page sketch, and then we came up with the design. It took a while, but Naim actually did that really well. So we were able to start by hand, and then we moved over to the solid model.
And that's where you say now SolidWorks enabled you to actually do it all in one. Your shape that you want to capture, the artistic side of it and the feel that you want to capture, you could capture that in a true CAD system.
Yes. So that was really important to us not to be an organic shape.
Yes.
As opposed to being a really structured flat surface.
Typical. Yes.
Yes. And that's really nice that we could do everything in a single package. So as I said before, there were 4 things that was important to us when choosing a CAD package. So to us, it was mechanical design, because that's important as a mechanical engineer. I'm quite sure there are a few of you out there. as a mechanical, the mechanical side. And then the second part is the shape, the design part of it, the real organic shape, the industrial side. So that was really important to us, and we couldn't do that in the previous packages.
I think that's just something I want to just remind everybody out there, all your engineers. Just remember, most of the guys that's using your products that you design are not engineers, and they're looking for something, not engineering orientated, and that's what you want to keep alive with your product.
Yep, exactly. So I think that's a really important point that I've got to tell myself regularly.
Yes.
But luckily, we've got guys on the team that takes care of that and keeps everyone in line.
Yeah. So, and then you mentioned that often Rudolf and some of the other team members would pop in there by you and come see what are you doing. I know a few times they've gone for a little ride in one of the cars, coming back all excited about that. So there's been quite a lot of interaction between MECAD and MECAD during this entrepreneurship program.
Yep. So that's why I say it feels like we've known each other for a really long time. One of the things that worked really well for us during the entrepreneurship program has been, we didn't get an overload. We didn't get a SolidWorks overload.
Yes.
We basically started with the basic package, started some drawing, and then we added on.
Yes.
So we were lucky enough to just get a taste of the visualize. And then after a while, you get a taste of the routing. And then you build up your repertoire and your experience.
Yes, the nice thing that you said, actually, Rudolf would come up and say, what I see you do now, this product will actually be beneficial.
Yeah,
like you say, and then you grew into the products as you go on, and then you started using some of the tools.
Yes, that's correct. So really important is that you get the opportunity to test things, which if you've got to buy it outright, you may make a mistake, and then you're sitting with the tool.
Yes.
With the entrepreneurship program, we were able to test what we needed and said, that's not really priority at the moment. This is something we'll reap a bit more benefit from.
Excellent. Take us through some of the tools that you guys do use. Now, I see you brought up a slide there, so it's a little bit confusing. You say CFD. I don't see it being flow dynamics.
Yep, so that's a little lame joke. That I do know that it's not CFD, but we always refer to colors for directors.
Okay.
So that's really important to actually communicate what you've done and what it means, because it's relatively easy to actually to bring up something like this with SolidWorks. So put a couple of forces in, get a couple of colors out, but you've got to still interpret it.
Interpret the results, yes.
So I left that scale on the right-hand side just for people to speculate on what the input was. But we definitely use CFD. Obviously, you want to reduce or keep the weight as low as possible while keeping the structure as stiff and strong as possible.
Yes.
So at the moment, we are actually busy with a vehicle which will be homologated in Europe.
Okay.
And we are bringing the weight down as part of that project.
Okay, quite interesting. Yeah. Let's see what else. You actually mentioned that recently you started using with the premium version of SolidWorks, the routing, the electrical routing capability.
Yes, we are using that and actually to great success. So you can see the left-hand picture is shaped as a MECAD, because this is what the actual harness looks like inside the vehicle. We did a couple of other harnesses as well. So it is an electric vehicle. So there's a complete harness for the battery and then for the rest of the vehicle. So it was quite a steep learning curve. Initially, what we would have to do is actually build a harness in the vehicle and then start measuring out. So you would build a harness and then copy that harness in a hard copy.
Yes, to physically get the information to people to manufacture for you.
Exactly.
When now you can do it straight from the model.
Yep. So it takes a bit of, as I said, there's a bit of learning involved, but I'm pretty sure that the MECAD guys would gladly help you.
Yes.
So definitely a great plus for us to have the harness in a soft
capability. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So let's see what is next here. Okay, you actually got, while we've got the slide, before you bring this, you've got it up there. Guys, this is PDM standard. So you guys actually got your ISO certification recently.
Yes. So we are still waiting for the official certificate. That's how fresh it is.
Yes.
I guess that the ink must still dry. But yes, we went through the whole ISO 9001 certification. So our vehicle has obviously got to comply to quite a few standards, and we need a certification for that. So ISO was the logical one to use.
Yes.
There's quite a bit of paperwork involved in that whole exercise, and then version control is really important. So you've got to know what's in what vehicle and where that vehicle is operating.
Yes.
So in general, we use a VIN number on most vehicles. VIN numbers are used for that.
Yes.
So we're able to trace whatever is needed.
And you're managing to use PDM standard to assist you with your version tracking and
Yes.
everything that you have to in order to comply for the ISO certification.
Yep. So a big part of the ISO certification is actually the backside. If I may call it what would you call it? The back office.
Yeah.
So there where the accountant sits. So I put this slide in for all the accountants out there. I'm pretty sure there may be one or two accountants listening to this chat. But this is really gold for accountants because in our back system, we've got to load up the bills of material in particular formats. And you are able to set up your PDM so that you could simply export to a CSV file, and that CSV file can then be uploaded into the accounting system.
Yes.
So previously, all of that, those things had to be typed out manually and inserted into the accounting system, which is a pain.
Yes, and prone to errors and things like that. So,
exactly.
And, one of the things that you mentioned, you said a message for the accountants is buy your engineers PDM and get it implemented. So, yeah, it's because the design data that we create these days are so rich and so useful for the rest of the company, essential for the rest of the company.
You're right. We've actually seen that if you can distribute these kind of things to more people in the company, people can take informed decisions.
Yes.
So obviously you don't want all your information to lie around, but it's quite nice to have a tool to do a quick printout for the guy welding up to say, this is the list, this is the picking list.
Yes.
A picking list goes with the ISO setup.
Yes. And I think that connects on with what Quentin just showed us in the experience platform, why we need tools to collaborate and share. It's not just anymore just in the design office that CAD's being used. The information must be shared through the whole company. It's part of the life of the company.
Yep, so Don and Pete, all of those guys are part of the team, and everyone needs particular information.
Yeah, I've got the coolest hair, so I'm obviously Don, yeah, so...
Go for it.
Thanks, Ernie. Let's see what is next. So you were actually at our previous launch, 2018.
Yep.
You actually presented in Cape Town. So we've got the opportunity now to share this with the entire country. But you met up with some of the other customers at that launch, started a conversation with Paul Knaif and JJ Hubert from Beekman Canopies. Yep. And they actually played a major role in your coming to fruition with the project.
You're right. So this is a really nice little anecdote. We got together at the launch and we had a chat. So before we actually met at the launch, we had spoken by telephone before. But it's really nice to speak to someone over a cup of coffee and a nice finger lunch.
Yes.
It's easier to communicate and really get a feel for what someone is saying. And I think that's what made this whole COVID thing quite difficult for us as engineers, even though we wouldn't necessarily agree. But what happened is we actually started chatting. And right after that, we were able to actually put together a project. And Paul and the team actually put together this really nice design for a pattern. And we actually did our whole new fiberglass design with their help. So this
again, it just shows the value of collaboration with customers with knowledge. I mean, the guys of Beekman have got years of knowledge of fiberglass molding with the impressive canopies, and so it was a perfect match for you guys to match up and assist one another.
Yep. So a match made in heaven.
A match made in heaven.
At MECAD.
Yeah, well, MECAD facilitated.
So we've actually had a couple of instances like that where the guys from MECAD actually came over to the office. They see what we are doing, what we are working with, and then they are able to point us in manufacturers' directions.
Yes.
So that's obviously beneficial to everyone involved. And if your supplier or your customer is also using SolidWorks, it just makes it so much easier. You can immediately share the information on a single platform. So that also aided in the process.
You know, we've got a massive network of customers with different capabilities, and it's so nice to be able to hear a success story of engagement between our customers, and that's what we want to facilitate and assist where we can. So the next thing that we want to talk about is, you know, communication, and you're referring to internal external communication. So
yeah, this is an example of external communication. The slide we've got on the screen at the moment. This was, as you can see, taken in Cape Town, this picture. This is a 3D print we actually made before we had the final vehicle.
Yes.
So Naeem obviously did all of the design work, all the beautiful curved lines. Jasper did a lot of the engineering, all the straight lines. And then all of that was put together, and we printed these vehicles. And we actually took it to a customer. This was taken from Takealot's office.
Okay.
Just to show them what we've got.
So these are scale models, guys. They're not full size. It took us some time. Like Ernie said, they're rather smaller than Table Mountain. So
from this angle, it does look the same size, but it's not.
Yeah, and you've got other examples of how you use the SolidWorks tools. This is one, using a model to be able to 3D print.
So one thing is using scale model, but we've actually used quite a few printed models.
Yes.
So for covers around the mirrors, you always want to have something that you can touch and feel and actually fit before you have it manufactured.
Yes.
So we use the printing and the models quite extensively
in your communication. But you also use Visualize and tools like that and create pictures.
Yes, there's one before we get to Visualize.
Yes.
So this is a picture of Naeem actually sitting in the cab using the 3D experience.
Guys, look carefully. Look on the screen. You'll see Naeem's hands actually there on the handlebars, and that's the HTC Vive headset that we demonstrated at our 2018 launch with the MECAD product, and that's Naeem driving the MECAD. Yeah, so Naeem, I don't know where this photo comes from. I'm sure Ernie gave it to us. So luckily we didn't play the video apparently. So, but Ernie, you explained how this was actually quite crucial when Rudolf actually came over and showed this to you guys at the company.
Yep. So we actually just before a board meeting, we realized that we only have a couple of minutes to go through the workshop. You can't spend 2 or 3 hours with a group of people that comes in once a month or once every 2 months. I think during COVID it would have been even more beneficial.
Yes.
But what we did is just before the board meeting, we actually set up this whole new design, showing all the changes. And Rudolf came, and it took the best part of 10 minutes to set up the system, and we were able to give everyone a ride in a MECAD without having a MECAD at the time. So that was just before production actually started. We were able to share the experience.
That's awesome. Guys, into the Visualize, because there's a poll coming up that we want you guys as well. So this is a render. It took me some time. I thought it was a photo, but then I could spot it. No, it's actually a render.
Yep. So this is a render. So obviously it's difficult to email a 3D experience or a printed part. So we are using visualize as it's a crucial part of our tools at the moment. So to really show someone potential, we use this tool.
Yeah, quite cool. Take us on to the actual photo of that, so you can see that the render is much nicer. But yesterday, actually, when Robert Miller was in the interview, he mentioned that he saw the DHL car running in Cape Town.
So it's an actual product. It's definitely not just a render anymore. You are able to see DHL vehicles in about 8 cities around Southern Africa.
Okay,
I say.
Excellent. So I think it's the next slide that we're going to put up and do the poll. Quentin, I see you joined us as well. Wesley will run the poll. So put up the next slide for us. So we just want to show it to you guys.
Okay,
no, it's not this one. Sorry. One more. Let's go on to the next slide. Even this slide, guys. I want you guys to vote quickly on the poll. Is this a picture or is this a render? So we've got a bit of money on the run.
Wesley, you're going to have to
Quentin, you can see
give the results because I can't see it now.
Yeah, I can actually see the results there. I'm just going to move forward a little bit.
Okay, perfect.
Everybody's going for a render just because obviously we're making a big thing here. But is this a photo or a render? Look closely, guys. So I think the results are overwhelming coming in as you guys are voting for a render. But I think it's just because you're expecting it to be. So Ernie, share with us.
So this picture was rendered.
Guys, this is actually quite a funny story. When Ernie bragged that he's got a nice render of the Checkers promotion card that they're putting out, and I'm going to give him a chance to speak about the deal with Checkers and what you will be seeing soon. And I was quite upset because where's the render? He sent me pictures but not renders. And at some point I read his notes and I realized, but this is a visualized render. And all the guys in the office had to come and look with me at it and say, and we said, no, this must be a photo. So it took us quite a bit of time to realize that it's actually a render. It's so well done. So I think this just proves the power of something like Visualize.
Yes, so it's really difficult to roll out a vehicle to show someone potential. Once again, so what we are able to do is to do all the branding design beforehand and see it on a vehicle in a real environment before we have to spend hard money on it. So this not only saved us a lot of money, I think it's also got the potential to show the customer what they can do from their side.
Yes, and you will be having cars running with a 60/60 delivery for Checkers quite soon.
Yep. So at the moment in the Cape area, you will see one of the vehicles running already for Checkers Food Services. So that's great. And then during December, we'll also be running 5 vehicles in various cities around South Africa. So if you are on holiday in Hermanus or in Plet, or a couple of other places, you'll definitely see our vehicles running around. So you're welcome to
stop them, take pictures, post it. Yeah.
Please don't stop them, but do take pictures.
Okay, yeah, and you guys can order, and the guys are setting up. You can show us the factory with how you're tooling up.
Yep, so this picture was taken about a week ago. You could see on the right-hand side there are 3 vehicles on the line. We've got 5 assembly stations, and there are vehicles in 3 of those. So at the moment, we are actually set up to do 1 vehicle a day comfortably.
Okay.
And then we are looking to upscale to 2 vehicles per day pretty soon. But we are doing batches at the moment.
Okay, and you mentioned that the 4 we see completed are stock and being prepared to go out.
Yes, so they will be leaving the facility during this week. As you can see, they don't have number plates yet. And legally, you're not allowed to drive without a number plate. So we do not do that. The vehicle right up in front is actually going to Checkers.
Okay. Yeah, Ernie, there's a lot that you can tell us. Still more. We are running out of time, but share with us the team at MECAD. You guys value the people.
Yes, yeah. So that's really important to us. So I'm sitting here being the mouth for today, but there's a big mechanical and electrical team and a production team, and Neil, who actually founded the company, who everyone works together to make this work.
Yes.
To make this work. So you may have the software, you may have the computer, but you still need a human interface.
Yes.
And I think it's quite important to us that the team is celebrated.
Yes.
And the same with our suppliers. We obviously can't do these things alone. So our customers and suppliers are equally important.
No, that we feel part of the team when we talk to you guys, and when we ask a question, ask for a presentation, you guys always there to come forward with it. And through the entrepreneurship program, and what you guys have been able to do was so successful that Dassault was impressed with us. And you guys will see in the next presentation of 3D Experience, actually the MECAD design being used by Dassault for their marketing and rollout of the 3D Experience. So this, guys, this is an international known success story of the entrepreneurship, and well done to MECAD for what you guys have achieved, Ernie.
No, thank you very much. So we will take that, and shout out to the team.
Yeah, excellent. Brilliant MECAD's team back in Stellenbosch. So I hope you guys are all watching. So guys, thank you, Ernie, thank you very much. I'm just going to go one last thank you to everybody. It's our last day, finishing up with these live interviews. It was really fun doing live interviews, something new. Raphael Smith from BMEC on Tuesday, Robert Miller from the Eye Above, and today Ernie. The time that you guys spent with us and sharing your stories was really good. And then one shout out for Prop Stars, for Graham Weekly and the team that came in, brought us the furniture, set up the screens, and made us look professional with a little studio. So guys, thanks a lot for all the help, and thanks for watching. So Quentin, over to you. We're done with the interviews.
Cool. Yeah, I've actually got I've got a video here that SolidWorks used. I'm just going to go and show you quickly. You can check this out. I'm going to play the video here for a second. So this is actually the HTC Vive of the MECAD inside of the virtual environment. This is with SolidWorks. This is eDrawings. So it's eDrawings has got on with HTC Vive on. We bought one from Macro for like 10 grand. Open up eDrawings. There's a VR button in there, and we actually took the MECADs, and this is what Ernie was speaking about earlier on. Design review. It's absolutely amazing. It's full VR, and you got file open, boom, and there's no translation. You just put the headset on, and you're inside of the model, and you use the remote control to move, manipulate the model around. You can sit inside of it, move it around, and explode it. We're running out of time, but we'll post some more information on the vehicle. On this video, I'll put it on YouTube. Really, really cool. It's very nice to use this kind of tech. Anyway, super. Thank you, Ernie. Thank you, Idris. I'm gonna hand over to Evan now in our Centurion studio. Perfect. Thank you, Evan. One last thing before I hand over to you, I just want to share my screen one more time because I don't know if I did it earlier. There, and say share, and I'm going to do this. I really want to show you guys or talk about this one more time. There's only 2 hours, there's only 1 hour left, guys, for the competition. Create, post, make it creative, have a fun post of you watching the webinar, make some comments. Remember, at MECAD Systems, hashtag MECAD Systems, post a photo on, and we're busy reviewing these things. There's a drone to give away. And this is a really cool opportunity to win a really nice drone for Christmas. If you're a team at a company watching together as a group, enter in as well. Why not? You guys can wrestle over the drone yourselves. It'll be quite fun to watch. Anyway, perfect. I'm gonna hand the ball back over to you. And Evan, I will let you take over for the rest, and then I will join you at the end again. Yeah, sit back and enjoy, guys. This is about to get exciting. So I'm going to turn off and put the screen sharing over to you, Irfan.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Quentin, and thank you, Edith and Ernie.
We can't see your screen yet.
Quickly,
the screen sharing hasn't come on yet.
Yeah, just sharing that now. Let me know if everything is working. While I wait for that to start up, I'd just like to introduce myself. I'm Ivan. Some of you have dealt with me when dealing with
I'll let you know when the screen sharing says it's not sharing just yet.
Let's just give it a second.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, so let's get started. Quentin showed you guys the collaboration and the data management and PLM systems, and I'm going to show you guys the design and simulation portions of 3DExperience. So before I get started with that, I'm just going to do a brief recap, something Quentin mentioned regarding roles, apps. It can be very confusing, so I want to simplify it for you guys. So firstly, you as a user or company, you purchase a role, and that role contains several apps, and each app has certain functions, certain tools it offers you. Now, with a lot of apps, you get other roles, or not a lot of roles, you get other roles bundled with it. So, for instance, like the industry innovator here, which is like the tasks and the data management and the project management you saw, and the business innovator, which is the social and collaborative stuff you saw from Quentin. So let's jump into the design stuff for everything I'm going to be showing you guys today. So on the left-hand side, we have our design apps, and on the right-hand side, we have MECAD, which is going to be some powerful simulation stuff I want to show you guys. So let's start with the design stuff, and in particular, let's start with Xshape. Now, Xshape is the feature app of the 3D Sculptor role. Now, there's a few other apps included, the SolidWorks connector, which keeps a good link with SolidWorks. You can still use the SolidWorks you already have or that you're used to working with, and the format converter that makes sure everything plays nicely with the 3DExperience platform. Also bundled are the industry innovator and business innovator roles, so you get all the data management, social features, everything that you saw Quentin show us earlier. So let's take MECAD, and Edith and then sort of gave you a bit of spoiler here of what I'm going to show you, but we're going to take one of their designs and we're going to use the Xshape app and the 3D Sculptor role to create some of this. So let's get started with that. So as you'll see here, I've opened up, I'm on my dashboard, and I'm going to start a new part in the Xshape app. So I'm just going to drag in an assembly I already have and open that up or insert it into the part. Now from here, we want to add some sketches. So first, just going to save it, make sure we have our version control and everything running in the background. Waiting for that. And we're going to maximize that app so we just work in this. So first, we're going to add some sketches. We've made some hand sketches like the stuff you saw Ernie and them show. And we're going to use these to help us define the shape and everything we want. So we start with our first sketch. Just going to rotate, scale, and position everything as needed. This is something you guys should be familiar with from SolidWorks already. It's a very common workflow. So making sure everything is positioned, and that sorts out our back view. Now we're just going to do a quick one for the top view. Make sure it's positioned and scaled correctly, and there we go. Okay, now to start first with everything, we are going to start modeling. And in this one, we're going to add in a specific shape. So there's a box, there's a few different other shapes, but you start with a basic object. And as soon as you insert it, you can define how many edges and sides it has. So in this case, we're going to reduce 2 sides to only 2 edges, and there we go. Now starts the cool part. We're going to start shaping this like it's a piece of clay, and this is the awesome thing about Xshape. This is a completely new type of modeling from what you guys might be used to, and it allows you to create extremely organic and complex surfacing and shapes very, very easily. So you'll see all we do is we box select some of the edges and we just start dragging and rotating them. Really a lot of power and a very intuitive interface. So just spacing everything out. Just going to take some time making sure we get this shape exactly right. The front portion is almost perfect. See there. And now we're going to do the top piece, making sure everything is as we want it. Here we go, doing some rotation. Moving that back portion in. And moving that top edge. You even have things like control polygons. So you actually have a lot more control than just simply dragging and dropping. And you can drag an edge, a vertex, a face. You can rotate it as well. So there's a lot of possibilities here. Sorting out our top view, making sure everything is wide and sharp as we want it. And it is looking good. Okay, let's take this one step further. Now we want to make sure we've done this right. So we're going to make this part transparent and just make sure the assembly we already have is in the correct position. We're going to start off just rotating the part, just having a look, making sure we don't have some weirdness in terms of it being slightly off center relative to the assembly or anything like that. So everything's looking good, and we're going to move on. So we're going to take that top edge, that should be a lot sharper, that top right edge, and we're going to use the crease tool to make that a bit sharper. So we're going to select the two edges and just give it a bit more sharper detail than you might be seeing already. That's okay. And then lastly, we're going to add one more shape to cover up the engine and the motor there at the back. Make sure everything's looking good. So scaling that down, again, changing two of the sides to only two edges. And then just position and move this just like we did before. It's going to be a fairly quick operation, this one. And the tools adapt depending on which view. So if you're in a 3D view, it'll give you 3D tools to rotate and translate. If you are in a planar view, one of the main planes, you can use that. Or it'll show you tools specifically for that. So next, we're going to combine these two shapes. Just select the face on each one and combine. And there we have our final shape. Everything is done. And that was minutes of work, which would have otherwise maybe taken you hours. So let's just quickly do a recap of everything you just saw. So in the 3D Sculptor role, we have a fast, easy, and intuitive subdivision modeling scheme. So you can get complex and organic shapes very, very easily. Flexibility of design workflow. So this means you don't have to worry about, am I working in the assembly? Do I have the right context? You can just design. You can shift stuff around later as needed. There's no need to worry about assembly structures. There's also built-in version control, courtesy of Works. So you don't have to worry about data management either. And then lastly, since this is on the 3DExperience platform, this integrates with all the other apps you have and with SolidWorks perfectly. So no need to worry about exporting, saving, importing, data management, that kind of stuff. And most importantly, all of this is cloud-based. You can do this on any device. You can do it on a tablet, on even a Mac, even an iPad, on your phone. This is really powerful tools. It's completely cloud-based. So let's next start with the XDesign app. And XDesign is part of the 3D Creator role. So all of the other apps are exactly the same as the 3D Sculptor role, but this time it's the XDesign instead of the X-Shape app. Now, XDesign is more like the traditional CAD tool you know, and I'm going to show you a bit about that. So we're going to switch over with our MECAD design from the X-Shape app to the XDesign. Now watch this. This is really cool. We just click the button and we're in XDesign. There was no exporting, just like I mentioned to you guys. It's a perfect, smooth, seamless transition. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that big cutout in our body, and we're going to do that by starting a sketch. So this is stuff all of you guys should be familiar with. It's an intuitive workflow you have used before. So we're going to do some splines there, just position everything as we want. And I'd just like you to keep an eye out on some of the tools and things happening, specifically things like the context menu. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that later as we get into this. So just positioning that and just going to add that front portion as well. And then do an extrude cut through all in both directions, and there we go. Okay, and there we've done our first cut. So going from here, we're going to add some chamfers to the front, just add some bit more detailing so it's not as sharp of a shape. Okay, so now the back portion, you'll see these wheels have a recess they sit into. So we want to cut that away from the X shape we made earlier. So just going to do a small extrude cut, and then we'll just mirror that across the central plane. Lastly, we're going to do a shell command. So you'll see here we have all of our usual SolidWorks tools. So just select the shell command, 30 mils thickness, and just press OK. And we've gone from an initial quick sketch to a final design in literally a few minutes. And this is really, really powerful stuff. So let me show that to you guys. Okay, so this is Debbie Designer again. So I showed you guys a lot of cool tools there. I want to show you more. I think XDesign has more features that I can show you. So we're back with Debbie Designer, and she's going to sign in to her tasks here. So she has a task to redesign the mounting bracket. So she's dragged that over, and she's going to go ahead and start with that. So she opens up the 3D Creator tab she has, starts a new component, and she just starts sketching. It's a simple, easy to use tool. Go ahead, add in your sketches, and just extrude it as normal. Now you'll see there's a lot of stuff that's appearing and disappearing very quickly, but these context menus you see keep popping up. These are actually AI driven. So it'll learn the typical workflow you use. When you select this type of edge, you usually do a fillet, or when you select this, you usually do a revolve. It'll learn those, and it'll customize that menu for you based on that. It can even make suggestions. Let's say you draw a circle and you want to mirror that. It'll make that suggestion for you. So we're going to mirror that shape we just made, pull it across to the other side. And next, we want to do a cut here at the bottom for mounting this monitor arm bracket to the main monitor arm assembly. Adding those in. And now you'll see she does an extrude. Now, normally, when you do an extrude, you have to exit the app and then switch it over to revolve, reselect the sketch. But here we can just switch it over to revolve. And we started with an additive extrude. Now we're just doing an extrude cut. Everything within the same menu. So really, really cool stuff. So with the design done, we're adding it back into the assembly, and we're just going to fix up the mates we have there. So selecting the new mate faces and locations. And there we go. Okay, so some of the parts you can see that aren't perfectly matched. Some of them not too big. So we're going to do some in-context modeling just to sort those out, make sure everything is working as is. And there we go. We have our final monitor arm assembly. Go ahead, just testing the mates, making sure everything is still working. And we are going to attach the design we just made as a deliverable to a task. And just search for it and select it straight from there. Save, and then drag that over to the done column. And there we go. So there's even features I didn't get to show you guys. So stuff like design guidance. So design guidance, you can define loads, supports, constraints, and it'll tell you where to add or remove material to get your design more optimal for what is actually needed. Now, a lot of the previous stuff I said before still applies here. You can use the features as is in the assembly structure, and then you can later move those into parts or sub-assemblies. You don't even have to worry about version control. That's already sorted out for you. You can eliminate you'll disconnect in terms of collaboration. You're always working on the correct part, always working from it to do. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. You can share these results on the platform like you saw Quentin do earlier. This is also connected to SolidWorks desktops. You can drag in a part that you worked on in SolidWorks and then continue working on it on your tablet, on your iPad, or anything from home. Same part, exact same geometry. Okay, now we get into X sheet metal. And this is the cool part about the roles. You'll see everything has been split up into its own role, and we've told you you buy the role, you don't buy the app. So instead of being saddled with a bunch of features you might not need, let's say all you do is sheet metal, you can just get the sheet metal creator role. So for this one, X sheet metal is the feature app, and I'm going to show you guys a bit about this app. So here we have a compressor, and we want to make an assembly for this compressor. What we're going to do is we're just going to start sketching. So we start our sketch, just add dimensions, typical workflow for sheet metal. And then we're going to do sheet metal extrude straight from the context menu. So see there. Add some edge flanges on both sides. And there we go. Okay. Adding some additional edge flanges, and we're just going to add some clearance there so everything will fit together nicely, just like we want. So we have a ventilation hole up here, and we're just going to cut that in, and another one on the side that we're just going to cut all the way through. Lastly, we're going to add some tabs here near the top, and keep an eye on this. This is what I talked about earlier. So we're going to do the tab, but right after this, we're going to do a sketch, and I want you to see what's happening there. So with the sketch, we're drawing a hole there. And then from the context menu, we get a suggestion to just draw a hole on the other one because they're patterned. So it knows you want to do that, and it makes that suggestion to you. Now looking at our flat pattern, we see we might want to add that corner relief there. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the corner relief to a circular type. And just add that in. Lastly, we're just going to mirror this across the central plane. Mirror the body. It's going to merge and combine with the other faces. And this will still flatten. And there we have our housing. Really quick, really cool design tools that I really wanted to show you guys, and I hope you guys find this interesting. Now, my favorite part. I like simulation, and SimuliaWorks is a beast of a simulation tool. Let me show you guys a bit about that. So SimuliaWorks, let's go through some of the type of simulations you can do. Some of these might sound familiar to you guys. So you get static stress simulation, you get your thermal frequency buckling. Next, you get a bunch of modal transient or harmonic studies, nonlinear static, thermal transient, visco or creep type studies. And then things like explicit dynamic studies, I'll get into that now, post-buckling, random vibration, and complex frequencies. So you might be thinking, okay, but I've heard some of these terms with SolidWorks, and SolidWorks is a powerful tool. You've seen what iAbove used it for with their drone project, the flow simulation, the FEA. It's all really powerful, but SolidWorks takes you up to a point, and there are sometimes when you need a more powerful tool, and SimuliaWorks can really give you that. So SolidWorks takes you up to about there, and SimuliaWorks can take you much further, and there's even more features coming and already available now. So those are the types of studies you can do, but how does this break down into roles? I'm just going to quickly go over the roles here. So you'll see there's a bunch of roles here: structural designer, structural mechanical engineer, and every higher end one contains all the features of the lower end one. So we'll go, this is just a general structure you can see here, and you can select the specific ones you need and then get higher end ones if a project specifically needed for that. So what makes SimuliaWorks work? Now, I'd like to there's a few core tenets regarding SimuliaWorks. So SimuliaWorks is accessible, it's powerful, and it's connected. So what do I mean by these? Now, accessible means you can use it from anywhere and anyone can use it. Powerful, you have capabilities that you don't have with your current tools, and you have industry-leading solvers and so forth. And connected, because this is all on 3DExperience, you're connected to your team, you can share results easily, view results, create reports, etc. So let's start with accessible. So I'm going to show you guys a bit of a demo with the accessible stuff. So here we have a designer, and he's been tasked with running some simulations on that clamp you see over there. So you'll see his to-do down here, and you'll see all of these guys have a different dashboard. That's because they've customized it to how they want. And Quentin talked about that earlier. You can really use what you want in your dashboard. So he's going to select the part and just open up the simulation tool. So once he has this, skips ahead there. So once he has the simulation tool open, technical difficulties. Let's try again. Here we go. Okay, so he's starting with the simulation. So you see he has the assistant there on the side. He's going to start setting up his mesh, his material properties, all familiar simulation things you've done. That assistant, you can customize that. So let's say you have a routine workflow. You can set that up exactly how you want. And even if you have advanced users, they can set it up for less advanced users, so they know exactly what they're getting into. So setting up more of our interactions. We are now just going to run our simulation. Now you can run simulations either on your computer or in the cloud if you're working off a tablet, or on, even if that's just what you want. So you ran the simulation, it got some results, but he's going to make some design changes. Because everything is connected, we can just make changes, save that out, and it updates in our simulation. So we'll just run this again, get new results. And there we have it. We have our new results, and that was super easy. Now we can compare this very easily with the previous results, see how the stresses, strains, displacements, and various things work. And really, and that's what I mean by accessibility. You can use this anywhere, any which way you want, and you can make it work for any user. Now, powerful, and this is the important thing. Simulia.Works is driven by the Abacus solver. Now, some of you might be familiar with this. Abacus is a solver that has been around for decades. It's been used in some of the most advanced simulations ever run, and it is a proven solver. It has industry-leading capabilities in terms of the types of simulations it can run, and also the degree or the complexity of those simulations. It has more advanced elements. If you have specific needs for the type of elements, you can go ahead and make use of those as well. You get explicit solving capabilities. Now, what an explicit solver is, it is a type of solver that allows you to run simulations on high-impact, short-duration events. Think car crashes, drop tests. The explicit solver allows that. It has a damage model. So if your material is actually going to fail, it's going to fail in the simulation. So you get a more accurate simulation in the end. And we're going to see some examples of that now. You even get the option to do material calibration. Let's say you've run your simulation and you've also done a physical test. You can calibrate the material in your simulation so the final result will be exactly correct as you expect it to be. And lastly, you get extremely advanced automatic contact. No more struggling with setting contact. You can really rely on these advanced contacts. So let's look at a few examples. And I'm going to quickly go through these. You'll see there's a routine workflow here. So your normal linear and thermal studies. These are quite easy to use, and SolidWorks has scaled these so they're easy for even beginner users to use. On top of that, you can import those studies directly from SolidWorks into Simulia. So let's say you've reached the edge of where SolidWorks will take you, you can just import that study and run it in Simulia. Let's look at a few more. So up at the top left, we have a pump housing with preloaded bolts and a gasket. So that compressible gasket can really be a problem for a lot of simulations, but Simulia can handle it with ease. The advanced contacts with the rubbers and everything you see in the top right, there's a lot going on there. It might not look it, but that's a lot of friction, a lot of contacts for it to calculate, and it's doing it easily. Here at the bottom left also, some extreme advanced contacts as well. and even some T-tube hydroforming. And you can see some of the new elements already in there that you can make use of. So really cool tools. And then let's take it all the way. So these are the non-linear dynamic workflows. So all of your explicit solvers and so forth. So camera drop test, you see there the lenses, the stresses, how they change throughout the body. The spreader drop test. This can getting crushed in the bottom left. That's the damage module at work. It's actually causing the elements to fail as they actually would. And then this prosthetic foot impact test as well. Really, really powerful simulations. And like I mentioned, there's scalability here. So not just in terms of the capability, but also in terms of user need and user skill. So if you're just a beginner user, you can start off with Structural Designer and start using it. As your skill develops, or as you have team members that might have more or less advanced skills than you can give them specific roles related to their skills. Now that's it for powerful, but what about connected? Now in the connected one, I'm going to show you guys the simulation collaborator role. Now this is cool in the sense that you don't need the simulation role to view the results. So this guy is viewing the results using the simulation collaborator roles. And this is not just viewing, he can make new plots, he can create entirely new data for assessment. And you'll see here, he's pulling this straight from the simulation study. This is not an exported result that he's using. This is the actual study that was run. So there's no worry about having the wrong version or revision of results, having the wrong report. You can use everything. He's even sharing these results to the community, new plots he just created. Here he's doing a trade-off comparison where he's creating various trades-off, max stress, max displacement, factor of safety. He created this himself. The analyst didn't do this. And he's comparing these. So really powerful tools. Let's see. You'll see he's viewing several results here as well. And that's what I mean by connected. Anyone can use these results in their final reports or share these to the platform. So you have a single source of truth. Everything is drawn directly from the study. You have collaboration. Different users can view the results regardless of the role they have even. And cloud computing. Since everything is run on the cloud, you can run this from any device and you can run the entire simulation on a solving server in 3DExperience. So I think that about covers it. Quentin, I don't know if you want to jump in here. I don't know if we have any questions. You guys have any questions for us? Let me pull everything in over here.